Hello. So today I am doing some fan art of Ethel Cain's album Preacher Daughter, specifically the last song called Strangers. And so then this is my Pinterest board that I did of it. This is sort of my inspiration. I really wanted the lighting to be green and red, like the shadows to be red and then the lights to be green. And then I wanted it to be sort of the silhouette of the man Isaiah and then of her in the freezer, and then you can see like part of her hand in the freezer. I have these of like the sort of Ethel Cain aesthetic Americana wooden countertops, old 70s 80s kitchens, because since it takes place in the 90s, the like old outdated kitchens would be from the 70s. I have references of hands, references of stylistic choices. That one specifically is from Julia Lepetite, from Drawfee, love her. This sort of like shapely rendering, where you sort of use the lasso tool and then give it a lot of fun textures with like the shading and stuff like that. I don't really do stuff like that, and I really wanted to try something like it. So this is my attempt. I'm not sure if this turned out exactly the way that I pictured in my head. I still like the outcome, but I feel like it could be a lot better if I was more practiced in this style. I also wanted it to be kind of like a magazine cover, kind of, with the text on the front. That sort of it has the, title of the song and then Ethel Cain, who it's by, and then sort of like Easter eggs or stuff about what the song is about, like Ethel Cain. If you don't know, if you're watching this video and you haven't listened to Preacher's Daughter, or you don't know what I'm talking about, I would recommend doing that first. But if you haven't and you need a little bit of a rundown, Preacher's Daughter is a album by Ethel Cain. That's her stage name. Her real name is Hayden. Wonderful musician. The album is like a high concept album. It's about this character, Ethel Cain, who goes through a lot of stuff and ends up being killed by this man and then subsequently eaten by him. There's a lot of other stuff that happens too. Don't let this sort of put you off. The music is incredibly good. But that's sort of the story of this song in particular, is when it's revealed that he then, eats her. This, like, listening to myself say it, if you know Ethel, if you're an Ethel Cain girly, right? But saying it out loud for someone who doesn't know who she is kind of interesting. But yeah, so I try this sort of rendering style. The kitchen itself and the appliances is red, and then the fridge and freezer and the light coming from it is then sort of this almost sickly neon green, which is kind of what I was going for, and then having some bright red highlights on him, and then also like her and her hand. I don't think like I said, I don't think it turned out exactly the way that I thought it would or wanted to. I pictured her hand being more prominent, maybe like the bright red being like blood dripping off of it, something like that. But I didn't really end up doing that. I think this might be an interesting thing to do for like other songs specifically from this album, or maybe like songs from other artists that have such like a strong, if the song gives me such a strong visual like this one does, maybe doing something similar. But yeah, this song itself just gives such a strong visual and such a strong like feeling. If you know the Ethel Cain core is like literally a thing, like the sort of aesthetic and like visual and like the sound that she creates is such a specific mood and time and place. that it's very easy to create visuals for. As you can tell, it's like I used very textured brushes, but then, like I said, I used the lasso tool. I ended up going back into like the cabinets and making them dirtier and grittier, almost like his hands are covered in blood and there's like blood stains on them, like fingerprints and smudges all over the cabinets and stuff. The fridge I made super gritty, almost like there could be like mold on it or something like that, but you can't quite tell. So I made it very gross. And then I went in with the text, and I sort of changed what some of it said. So going through, it's like photo evidence made public, the shocking truth about the Ethel Cain case, and or the Cain cold case. And I saw her picture on the milk carton at Winn-Dixie. Ethel Cain's mother talks of her daughter's disappearance. Like, those are things that happen in the song. Like, the lyric is like, when my mom sees me on the side of a milk carton in Winn-Dixie. And the, like, will I just end up being, like, photo evidence? Will that be the only memory of me? And the freezer bride, unidentified woman found half eaten in man's freezer. Like, the freezer bride is like the first verse, I believe, that she says. And obviously, like, I, do like the Ethel, like, why does it say identified if this is about, if this is a magazine about like the, true crime unsolved case of Ethel Cain. I just thought it sounded good. I mean, this isn't really a like real or realistic magazine or anything like that, but it does sort of play into like the sensationalism of like true crime cases and stuff like that, which I thought was an interesting space to play in, especially with like this album. And yeah, here it is, and here it is without like all the text. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching.